Canada's parliament just gave a standing ovation to a 98-year-old Ukrainian Canadian Nazi soldier after Ukrainian President Zelensky's visit and address to Canadian lawmakers. Now, the Canadian Parliament's decision to celebrate Yaroslav Hunka, who was a volunteer member of the Nazi battalion Waffen-SS Galicia Division, a unit infamous for its role in massacring civilians during World War II, drew worldwide condemnation and backlash this week that led to the resignation of the Speaker of the Canadian House of Commons and an apology by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who admitted this was embarrassing for Canada.
But this is something that is deeply embarrassing to the Parliament of Canada and by extension to all Canadians. I think it's going to be really important that all of us push back against Russian propaganda, Russian disinformation, and continue our steadfast and unequivocal support for Ukraine.
And if you heard that right, this superficial apology attempted to paint Canadian Parliament's inviting and celebrating a Nazi soldier as a political blunder, an honest mistake, and another reason to push back against Russian propaganda. But it certainly wasn't Putin who convinced the Liberal Party of Canada to invite a literal Nazi soldier that is now wanted for extradition by Poland. And it certainly wasn't the Kremlin that organized a private meeting between Trudeau, Zelensky, and the Nazi soldier Hunka himself before the Parliament celebration. Now, to be clear, this was no honest mistake. Lauding Hunka continues a legacy of Canada deliberately supporting and even arming right-wing military factions in Ukraine in the West proxy war against Russia. This includes Ukraine's military order Centuria, which is briefed by Ukraine's openly Nazi Azov battalion. And this only scratches the surface of Canada's long-standing history of aiding SS Nazis after World War II by seeking them out and offering them Canadian citizenship. You see, Canada wanted Nazis in particular to use as thugs against its growing communist labor movement and to police the large and mostly progressive Ukrainian Canadian community. And so it quietly welcomed thousands of Ukrainian Nazis into the country after World War II, helping them escape prosecution in Europe. Having a Nazi tattoo meant virtually guaranteed entry and a new life in Canada. Nazi war criminals found jobs as police informants, sending the RCMP intelligence about left-wing activities inside Canada. Many Ukrainian fascist descendants have even gained significant political influence inside Canada. Just one example is former Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, who was proud of her grandfather, who was a high-ranking Nazi propagandist during World War II. That Canada is now effectively involved in a proxy war against Russia over Ukraine, sending weapons and supporting far-right forces, makes this history of creating a safe haven for fascists all the more relevant. And it doesn't take Russian propaganda to point that out.